What was supposed to be a routine day at a luxury shopping district turned into an unforgettable public confrontation for Barron Trump. At 17, he was no stranger to attention, but nothing could have prepared him for what was about to unfold. The bustling halls of Manhattan's renowned Madison Plaza buzzed with activity as shoppers flitted between designer boutiques. Barron, standing tall and striking, moved through the crowd with quiet confidence. His baseball cap and hoodie were an attempt to blend in, though his stature and sharp features made anonymity almost impossible. Accompanied by a discreet security detail, Barron was casually browsing through a high-end gadget store. He had always had a penchant for tech and was exploring the latest releases when an employee approached him. The man, in his mid-30s with an officious air, scrutinized Barron's casual attire. "Excuse me," he said, his tone polite but firm. "Can I help you with something?" Barron looked up from the display, offering a small smile. "No, thank you. Just looking." But the employee didn't leave. Instead, his gaze lingered. "Are you sure you're in the right store?" he asked, his voice tinged with skepticism. Barron's smile faded. "Yes, I am," he replied, his tone even but unmistakably firm. The employee's eyes darted to Barron's sneakers and casual hoodie. "I'll need to see some ID," he said abruptly. Taken aback, Barron hesitated. "Why?" he asked. "Is there a problem?" The man's response was curt. "It's store policy to ensure we're not attracting the wrong crowd." The words hung in the air like a sour note. Barron's brows furrowed. "I don't see anyone else being asked for ID," he pointed out. The employee stiffened but didn't back down. "Please don't make this difficult," he said. By now, other shoppers had begun to take notice, their murmurs creating an undercurrent of tension. Barron's security team stepped forward, their presence a silent but commanding reminder of who he was. "Is there an issue here?" one of them asked, their voice measured. The employee's composure faltered for a brief moment before he doubled down. "We're just ensuring store policy is followed. If he has nothing to hide, he can provide his ID." Barron sighed, reaching into his pocket for his wallet. "Here," he said, presenting his ID. The employee's eyes scanned the name on the card, Barron Trump. His expression shifted, first to surprise, then to something more guarded. Instead of apologizing, the employee's demeanor turned defensive. "Wait here," he said, disappearing into a back room. The murmurs grew louder, phones were pulled out, and some shoppers began recording. Barron shifted uncomfortably, feeling the weight of every stare. His security team remained calm but vigilant, their eyes scanning the room. Minutes ticked by before the employee returned, this time with the store manager in tow. The manager, a woman in her early 40s with a sharp blazer and an apologetic smile, approached. "Mr. Trump," she began, "I'm sorry for any inconvenience, but we need to verify something about your visit." "Verify what?" Barron asked, his tone growing sharper. "I'm here to shop, not cause a scene." The manager's smile wavered. "It's just a routine check," she said. But her evasiveness only fueled the tension. One of the security team members stepped forward. "If you have concerns, address them now. Otherwise, we're leaving," he said firmly. The manager hesitated, glancing at the growing crowd before nodding. "We'll need you to come to the back for a quick conversation," she said. Barron's patience was wearing thin, but he complied. As he followed the manager, The whispers and camera flashes followed him like a storm cloud. Inside a small office, the conversation took a turn. "We received a report of suspicious behavior," the manager said, her voice low. "We're just doing our due diligence." Barron's jaw tightened. "Suspicious because I'm browsing? Or because of my name?" he asked pointedly. The manager faltered, offering no clear answer. Outside the store, Melania Trump had just arrived at the plaza. She had planned to surprise her son with a lunch outing, but was met with a flood of notifications on her phone. Videos of Barron being questioned had already gone viral. Her expression hardened as she quickened her pace, her heels clicking against the marble floors. When she entered the store, heads turned. Shoppers parted instinctively as she strode toward the commotion. Inside the office, Barron sat across from the manager, his frustration evident. The door swung open, and Melania entered, her presence commanding. "What is going on here?" she asked, her voice calm but carrying an unmistakable authority. The manager's eyes widened. "Mrs. Trump, we didn't realize." Clearly, Melania interrupted, her gaze icy. "You've detained my son without cause and humiliated him in front of a crowd. Explain yourself." The manager stammered, attempting to justify their actions, but Melania raised a hand, silencing her. "This is unacceptable," she said. "You owe my son an apology, and it won't be in private." The air in the room grew heavier as Melania's words echoed. The store manager fumbled for an appropriate response, her confidence unraveling under Melania's steely gaze. "Mrs. Trump, I assure you, this was simply a misunderstanding." A misunderstanding that involved publicly shaming a teenager? Melania cut in, her voice unwavering. "You singled him out based on his appearance and held him to a standard no other customer was subjected to. This isn't policy, it's profiling." The manager's face flushed. Outside the office, the crowd continued to swell. The buzz of murmurs was punctuated by the occasional flash of a phone camera. Shoppers were no longer browsing. They were glued to the spectacle, the drama unfolding in real time. Barron sat back, his frustration mingling with a newfound sense of vindication as his mother took command of the situation. He had always admired her poise, but witnessing it firsthand in such a tense moment was something else entirely. The store employee who had initially confronted Barron peeked into the office, his expression oscillating between worry and defiance. The manager gestured for him to enter. "Explain your actions," she demanded, her voice now edged with irritation. The employee hesitated, avoiding eye contact with Melania and Barron. His behavior seemed unusual, and You assumed," Melania interjected, her tone sharp enough to slice through his excuse. "You saw a young man in casual attire and decided he didn't belong here. Instead of treating him with respect, you chose to escalate a non-issue into a public debacle. Do you treat all your customers this way?" The employee's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, no coherent response forming. The manager sighed, clearly exasperated with the situation. "This isn't how we conduct business," she said, turning to Melania. "We deeply regret this incident and will take immediate steps to address it." Melania raised an eyebrow. "Regret is not enough. An apology to my son is in order, and I expect it to be as public as your employee's behavior." The manager glanced nervously toward Barron, who met her gaze steadily. "Of course," she said. "Mr. Trump, on behalf of our store, I sincerely apologize for the way you were treated. This was completely inappropriate." And I assure you we will be reviewing our policies and training our staff to prevent such incidents in the future." Barron nodded but said nothing, letting the weight of her words hang in the air. Melania's expression softened slightly, though her tone remained firm. "Good. Now, let's address the crowd that witnessed this debacle. If you are truly committed to rectifying your mistake, you will do so openly." The manager's eyes widened. "In front of everyone?" "Yes," Melania replied, her tone brooking no argument. "An apology behind closed doors does nothing to repair the public humiliation you've caused." Reluctantly, the manager nodded. She led the way out of the office, followed by Barron, Melania, and the security detail. The crowd outside parted as they emerged, phones still recording, every pair of eyes locked on them. The manager stepped forward, clearing her throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice shaky but growing stronger. "I want to address what happened here today. A member of our staff acted inappropriately toward one of our valued customers, Mr. Barron Trump, by singling him out and questioning his presence in our store. This behavior was unacceptable and does not reflect our values. On behalf of our store, I sincerely apologize to Mr. Trump and his family for this incident. We are committed to ensuring this does not happen again." There was a moment of silence before scattered murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some nodded approvingly, others continued recording, eager to capture every detail. Melania's expression remained composed, though a glimmer of satisfaction flickered in her eyes. Barron's voice broke the silence. "Thank you," he said simply, his tone measured but firm. "I hope this is a lesson not just for this store but for everyone watching. Judging someone based on their appearance is wrong, and we all deserve to be treated with respect." The crowd erupted into a mix of applause and cheers, the tension dissipating. Melania placed a hand on her son's shoulder, a subtle yet powerful gesture of support. Together, they walked out of the store, leaving the manager and employee to reflect on their actions. Outside, the atmosphere felt lighter. The paparazzi and curious onlookers had gathered, but Melania's security team efficiently cleared a path. As they exited Madison Plaza, Melania turned to Barron. "I'm proud of how you handled yourself," she said. "You didn't lose your temper, even when you had every right to." Barron offered a small smile. "I guess I learned from the best." Melania's lips curved into a rare smile, and together they headed toward their car, leaving behind a story that would dominate headlines and spark conversations about respect, privilege, and the importance of standing up for oneself. This story is more than just an incident in a store. It's a reminder of how biases and judgments based on appearances can lead to unnecessary conflict and harm. Barron's calm and measured response in the face of adversity teaches us the importance of maintaining composure, standing up for our rights, and addressing injustice with dignity. Meanwhile, Melania's unwavering advocacy for her son shows the power of speaking out against wrongdoing and demanding accountability. As we reflect on this incident, let it inspire us to question our own biases and strive for fairness in how we treat others, regardless of their background or appearance. By doing so, we can foster a society where everyone feels valued and respected. If this story resonated with you, consider sharing it to help spread awareness and encourage a broader conversation about respect and empathy. Let's make a difference together. For more inspiring stories and discussions, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We can't wait to hear your perspective.